I don't have to look twice to tell that you're fed up with drawing for hours on end and having nothing to show for it. Hey everyone, it's me, Ansh LP, and last winter, I went through a month of just straight studying art. I was on that grind, gesture drawing, perspective, all that stuff, right? And at the end of this training arc, I didn't really get much better compared to last month, where I went from doing my first painterly render to learning full-on grayscale and making my best artwork so far. So what did I do differently compared to last year? I'll be covering why your art isn't improving and why you're struggling so much to recall what you've learned. Number 1, stop setting goals and instead build a system. Just because you set a goal doesn't mean you automatically improve to reach that goal, right? LeBron's goal is the same as a regular NBA player, but their skill levels are different. LeBron's way better. Obviously, setting the goal is important, but beyond that is your system. And the whole point of a system is to just make drawing an improvement as easy as possible. With that in mind, I'll walk you through my current system, so then we can start working on building your own system. First, we need to make drawing like super easy to start, right? So what are the problems? Why is drawing not easy for me? One, I didn't have the motivation to take the tablet out from my drawer. It just felt tedious, right? And if it feels tedious, I don't want to do it. The next thing was I tried making a habit of drawing after exercising, but the times I'd finish a workout and then shower and then you get all ready, is really close to the time I eat dinner or sleep, right? So if I take a little bit longer in the workout, all of a sudden I don't have as much time, and then I'm like, oh, I might as well just go eat because I want to sleep on time. I didn't want to waste my time either, which was another problem because I do digital, right? It's not like I can keep my sketchbook. And there was always schoolwork to be doing, so I didn't have those large chunks of time to keep practicing my skills, right? And then this was probably the worst one, is that I was just scared of the blank canvas. Every time I start drawing, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to start from the beginning. And because I draw slowly, it's a huge commitment every single time I practice. So how did I fix this? I started with one really easy thing to do that I recommend you do as well. I just kept my drawing tablet on my desk at all times. Whenever I wanted to get started with new artwork, just boom, bam, bop. And instead of drawing after my workouts, I just started drawing in the mornings because it doesn't conflict with my exercise and sleep schedule and all that stuff, right? That just changed when I was drawing. As for wasting time, I figured this out in Krita. There's a setting that you can automatically record footage. Just like anytime you start up a drawing, it starts recording, right? So now I never feel like I'm wasting time because I can either upload it to Instagram or use it as background footage for when I'm making a YouTube video like this one. And this was an interesting one. So because I didn't have large chunks of time to practice, I bought a sketchbook. It's too much work to bring my tablet on the train to school, set up my computer, look for references, and then start drawing because I'm gonna be at my stop soon enough, right? And then I have to unpack all that, and it's just a hassle. Anytime I have that free block of time, take out my sketchbook, start drawing. Now, this last one, being scared of the blank canvas, it was the toughest to solve, but I actually did it with the help of Fortnite. Listen up, because this is an interesting story, so you might not know, but I was a competitive Fortnite player when I was around 13 years old. And what I did to improve every morning is I'd load up the creative maps that revolved around editing, aiming, and building, which massively helped in improving my skills. So back to art, what I've recently been doing is setting up my own training maps, my own creative maps for art. So because I was scared of the blank canvas, what would help with that is warming up, doing my warm-up routine while still improving. So every morning for 30 minutes, 10 minutes each for each map, I have 3 folders and I have a ton of references in them. So I set up a 10-minute timer for each of these maps. I put my references in Krita, and then during those 10 minutes, I can draw the expressions that I'm working on for YouTube, trying to make better visuals for you guys, the gesture drawing so I can get my ideas down on the page quicker, And then the weakness is like just whatever I'm bad at, that way I can work on it instead of avoiding it, which I tend to do. If things haven't been working for you, give this a try, man. If there's anything I want you to take away from this video, it's to make drawing and studying as easy as possible. It's just frictionless. Because when that happens, it makes the improvement inevitable. Number 2, you aren't using enough reference. Now, this is a tricky one because I'm 99% sure you're all thinking you're using enough references and that you're using them well too. And I used to think that as well because I didn't really understand how references work. Because there's references for so many things in art. Like there's pose reference, fashion references, environment references, effects, rendering, anatomy, character references. It's weird because these are so important to get an idea down, but people cover references so vaguely online. So what I'm gonna do is I'll break down how I used reference for this drawing here and exaggerated the drawing with the original reference as the base idea. So let's get into this. So there are a couple things. One, you could see the similarities with this, right? So this was the kind of base pose. I really wanted the character to be like brushing the snow into the camera, which is like the camera's like positioned here. This inkling's going like shoom, like that, and then the snow is coming at us, right? So this reference really helps me get the overall flow of the pose, like that little C curve down. There we go. There's a pose reference. This pose reference, this is more, when I look at this, I'm like, okay, how can I do the same pose, but in like a different perspective, right? So this helps me with how the pose looks like in real life. And then using knowledge and perspective and all that stuff, I can see like, okay, you know, maybe like the character's looking upwards and I have to do something with the head, or the arm is facing somewhere else, right? The pose I feel like is more straightforward. I feel like more people understand what they're supposed to reference with the pose. Like you look at the pose, right? But then for your drawing, maybe you want to do that same angle. Maybe you want a different angle, but the same pose. So you want to know what the pose looks like. Like right here, I know what the pose looks like. I know that it's like a C curve. So when I draw the inkling, I have to keep that in mind, that there's a C curve. You know, I changed the arm. I want to use this arm for balance, to use this arm to catch her hat because I don't know. She's maybe it's falling off her head. And now fashion references. Look, this hat is literally here. This is the same hat. I just changed this to gold because I liked the color better. I was planning on using this for the shoes. Then I realized that like when you snowboard, you have like these boots that attach. So that didn't work out from this reference. I was like, okay, I feel like short hair would work with this inkling better than long hair. So I had like a reference here, you know, how does short hair kind of look like? Yeah, here I was referencing how the inkling eyes would look like. This was perfect because it was literally a tutorial on that. The reference is like a rough draft of your essay, you know? Like, it's not about, oh, I have to make everything perfect. Like, I have to use the perfect reference. I have to follow it to a T. No. If you think of something that's better during the drawing, just do that, man. So that's how references are supposed to be used, at least in my opinion, how I use them. Because for me, references are like thrift shopping. You aren't looking for the complete outfit, like the perfect reference with the pose, the fashion, and everything in one. But you're looking for the pieces that can help you build out that outfit. Number 3, you aren't applying what you learn. And I know I did this personally so much with perspective. I'd practiced drawing different angles of boxes and all that stuff, right? During practice. Because I thought just by studying perspective, oh, I'd automatically use it. You still, especially if you're learning something, right? I still had to actively think about perspective for multiple drawings before it becomes a habit. And even now, I still actively think about perspective. Let's say, for example, you learned about color theory in the last episode. But if you don't apply what you've learned, then you aren't learning. I swear, this is such a cheat code because most people don't actually do that. And that's why most people stay stuck, because they, like, okay, I get it. Applying it, it takes more effort. I'll admit it, it does take more effort to actively think about like perspective for me when I'm drawing a piece, but that effort is worth it if I'm able to improve. Number 4, experiment, experiment, experiment. Guys, this is another crazy important tip. Having the courage to experiment with your art is an XP multiplier, and it mainly comes in 3 forms. So first is experimenting what you will draw. So if you mainly draw like portrait styles, try drawing a different style that you'll still enjoy. Like you could draw these guys doing something. Like you could draw maybe 2 of them in a piece, interacting with each other, right? Because it forces me to use different parts of my artist brain and learn different techniques. Because when I come back to my regular canvas size, I have more ideas or more tools in my toolkit that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't experimented. Sometimes I like sketchy art, not sketchy art. Number 2, experimenting during the thumbnail phase with different compositions, different effects, because usually the first idea, it isn't the best. Try different compositions, try different effects. And what really helps with understanding good compositions is just looking at a bunch of artists' work. Because there are some compositions that you can be like, oh, I can take a piece from there. Again, referencing. I could take a piece from there. I could take a piece from here. And then build your own composition. That extra 5 minutes that you spend drafting out more compositions can be the difference between a decent idea and an absolutely fantastic idea. And the third, this is my favorite one. It's experimenting during the rendering phase. I'm not 100% always sure on how to color or how to make my colors look better. So what I do is I just keep experimenting, adding layers, changing layer styles, removing layers, adding filters. Because especially when you're learning, there are some things that you do where you'll be like, yes, I want to use that all the time. That's my new thing. That way you're not only understanding what looks good, but you're also developing your own style. What type of layers do you like to use? What filters do you like to use? The whole point of experimenting is to get you to try so many things that you'll find the few nuggets, the golden nuggets that work, and create yourself a gold bar. Number 5, portfolio collection of your art. Like, this is a bonus tip since you've made it this far. If you're anything like me, you don't want your art to disappear after you're done drawing. Like, you're finished drawing your fully rendered piece. Let's say, for example, you don't have anywhere to post it. I mean, what do you do with it? I mean, you save it onto your computer, but then what? So what I'd suggest is building a portfolio of your work. Now, this video isn't sponsored, but I personally use the free version of Wix to just store my best art, right? And it's building my website, but at the same time, also like a portfolio where I can put some artwork and some other stuff. And with my art Instagram account, I can post there too. It makes me motivated to get it done because I know there's a place that I can put it and that I'm building something more than just a folder with artworks. I'm building a website, I'm building an art channel, I'm building a Instagram art page, right? And there are people who might get inspired by it. Not to mention, if you get lucky, the right person will see your art and there's a chance of you making it big. Drawing. It's a real thing that happens to people, and I wish that for you too. Thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, then pick up your stylus and poke that like button down below. I'm building a community of artists who are constantly improving, so if that sounds like you, consider subscribing so that you never miss a video. My name is Ansh, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.